Tonight, a Troy student was on Wheel of Fortune, and we'll find out how they did.
Plus, students talk about how to protect yourself from HIV. Stay tuned. TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the High Definition Digital Production Center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Nightly News for February 28th, 2012. I'm Judson Garner.
And I'm Bailey Majors. Thank you for joining us this evening. Last night, one of America's most popular game shows had a contestant that calls Troy University home. Rachel Scarborough gives us a look at the contestant.
Monday night was no ordinary night for Troy University student Talicia Harris. She was selected last year to be a contestant on Wheel of Fortune, and on Monday night, her episode aired.
It was very fun. It was. Pat, he's very cool. He joked with us. Vanna, she's very cool. I told her I wanted her job whenever she's ready to retire, but she's not going anywhere anytime soon. But it was very fun.
But the question on most people's mind is, how does someone from Troy get to be a contestant on one of TV's most popular game shows?
I had to audition for the show through this website called Face of Fans, and you have to create like this little small video, 60 seconds, letting them know why you want to be on the show, telling them about your personality and all that stuff.
Harris says being on the show was fun, but an added benefit was Wheel of Fortune treated the contestants as if they were royalty.
Well, they treated us like we were celebrities. They did our makeup, they did our hair, they fed us well. I can say that. They really treated us like we was kings and queens.
And what was it like spinning that famous wheel?
Heavy. It weighed 1,500 pounds. I believe it because every time I tried to spin the wheel, I had to hold on to the little rail and, spin like that.
With the magic of television, some things can be edited out, and it's no different in the game show.
I always wonder what would happen if Pat was to hit bankroll, in the final round, and he hit it with us. Yeah, they edit that out. He spin again.
Rachel Scarborough, Troy TrojanVision News.
Harris didn't win overall, but came home with a $1,000 prize.
One Troy University sorority took time last night to make students more aware of the dangers of HIV and AIDS and ways to prevent contracting the disease. Joey Hudson has a story.
You probably know what HIV is, but did you know that according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, over 50,000 people are newly infected with human immunodeficiency virus each year? Students gathered Monday night to discuss the spread of HIV and how to prevent contracting the deadly virus.
The ladies of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated had a forum tonight that was based around AIDS and HIV awareness. I was a speaker and we kind of talked about some of the warning signs, and we gave some testimonials, some things that we've heard in our communities and things that we've seen online.
According to the demonstration, many AIDS victims are young adults.
The higher rates of HIV/AIDS is going to be in that range of 20 to 24-year-olds, which is the majority of college students. Statistics are that AIDS are more prevalent in the African American communities. It's almost double that of the Caucasian and triple of Hispanic communities.
One of the things that we saw in the statistics was that it was affecting younger ladies in the middle school age, and me having a younger sister is really important that I help her understand the consequences if she does decide to. Hopefully she won't, but if she does decide to have sex or anything, I would definitely want her to share information with her about it.
Students were reminded not only of the presence of HIV, but also that some carriers are unaware that they have it or just don't care.
I hope that students are gaining a self-awareness to protect themselves, because a lot of people don't really care about hurting others, so you have to look out for yourself.
This is Joey Hudson for Troy TrojanVision News.
Last night's event was put on by the Zeta Phi Beta sorority.
Tomorrow morning, Troy University students will get the chance to meet someone who may someday give them a job. The Spring Career Fair is tomorrow from 9 to 1 in the Trojan Center ballrooms. At the fair, students get the opportunity to meet face-to-face with businesses looking to possibly hire some Troy graduates. Organizers say such interaction is important to finding a job down the road.
Just the type of impression you make on people, that you start to get to know businesses that are willing to hire you. They may not have positions now because the economy has been down, but they might in 2 or 3 years when that student's getting ready to graduate. So those initial contacts right now that you can build on over the years are key.
Once again, the career fair is tomorrow from 9 to 1 in the Trojan Center ballrooms.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Montgomery, a defense attorney in Alabama's gambling corruption trial says much of the prosecution's case is based on the testimony of one of the biggest con men Alabama has ever seen. Defense lawyer David McKnight attacked the credibility of Country Crossing casino developer Ronnie Gilley in his closing argument today. Gilley pleaded guilty and testified against the 6 defendants in the federal court trial in Montgomery.
And in Salem, authorities say a former Russell County deputy who was to report to federal prison to serve a sentence for beating a handcuffed man in 2010 has been found dead. Lee County Coroner Bill Harris, his 38-year-old Kirby Island Dollar Jr. was found dead on Monday in his driveway from an apparent gunshot wound to the chest.
And in Gadsden, officials say the grandmother and stepmother charged in the death of a 9-year-old girl who was allegedly run to death in Alabama weren't allowed to attend the child's memorial service. Both 46-year-old Joyce Garrett and 27-year-old Jessica May Harden requested permission to attend the service for Savannah Harden, but they were denied.
Still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, the softball team picked up 4 wins this weekend, but find out what recognition one player received for her accomplishments. Danielle Percival will be in next with sports with all the details.
But first, the death toll rises in a recent school shooting. We'll have that after the break.
Learning more about the alleged teenage gunman in a high school shooting.
At the heart of what we do in the College of Business is care for the students.
We feel like the students are our most important assets.
I have never been anywhere where I've known so many students on first-name basis.
What we try to do at Troy University is provide an experience to students that not only provide the curriculum that allows them to be successful in the business world, but we also try to expand their horizons to reach greater opportunities that maybe they didn't think they were capable of before.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Judson Garner at the Global News Desk. Judson.
Thanks, Bailey. The death toll rose to 3 from the school shooting at a high school in Ohio. The young man suspected of opening fire was scheduled for his first court hearing. But as Manuel Geigas reports from Chardon, investigators are still searching for a possible motive.
Devastating news keeps battering the community of Chardon, Ohio. 3 students are now dead, victims of Monday's shooting at the local high school. Officials confirmed the death of Russell King and shortly after Demetrius Hewlin. They were juniors, as was Daniel Permator, who died on Monday. An attorney for the suspect's family identifies him as T.J. Lane. He was a student at a nearby school for at-risk children. He was at Chardon waiting for the bus when witnesses say he opened fire, hitting 5 students. Investigators searched his family's home for clues to a motive. CBS News has learned Lane complained of being bullied. Nate Mueller was in the cafeteria when the gunfire started. He knew the suspect, but says he never sensed trouble.
He was just a quiet kid. I mean, he never caused problems. He never egged anybody on.
A lot of the talk here in Chardon is about how tight the community is. The sheriff himself has deep roots here and says the violence has shaken him up.
I happen to be a graduate of Chardon High School. I met my wife here. Most eerie feeling in the world was walking down the halls yesterday, running down them, in response to the incident we had.
Across town, there are ribbons for the victims.
I just can't imagine what the parents are going through. It's horrible. I mean, it's you never think it's going to happen in your town.
The community will gather tonight for a candlelight vigil. Thursday, parents and students return together to Chardon High. Manuel Gallegos, CBS News, Chardon, Ohio.
Another cruise ship has run into trouble. This time, a liner with more than 1,000 people on board is crippled in the Indian Ocean. The same company that owns the ship operated the one that capsized last month off Italy. Rita Nissan reports from London.
Rescue crews are towing a crippled cruise liner in the Indian Ocean. Hundreds of passengers are crowding the deck of the Costa Allegra because there's no power. A fire in the generator room on Monday left the ship with no air conditioning or way to cook food.
We have no reports of anyone being sick or hurt. As far as we're aware, the situation is very calm, that the captain is in control of the boat.
Emergency generators are only powering the ship's control room and its communication equipment. Helicopters are dropping food, satellite phones, and radios. It's taking longer than expected to tow the ship to the nearest island off the coast of Tanzania because the ship is so heavy. But most of the more than 1,000 people on board, including 8 Americans, should be back on land in the next 24 hours. Families of those on the ship are worried.
I haven't heard from her yet.
This woman's daughter is a dancer on the Costa Allegra. She also had a son working on the Costa Concordia, which capsized last month off the coast of Italy, killing 25 people.
It was a nightmare that we didn't think we'd have to relive, especially within 6 weeks.
Carnival owns both ships. The Costa Allegra is adrift in an area where Somali pirates often strike. Carnival says it has armed guards on board to keep everyone safe. Rita Nissan for CBS News.
Voters are heading to the polls today in Arizona and Michigan, where 59 GOP presidential delegates are up for grabs. In Michigan, the race between Mitt Romney and Rick Santorum is very tight. Daniel Nottingham has more.
Mitt Romney posed for pictures at his Michigan campaign headquarters and kept up his attack on Rick Santorum. He says his chief rival does not have the skills to be president.
I think he's an economic lightweight. I don't think he understands the process of job creating.
Thank you all very much. Santorum was also out early, hitting some breakfast spots and making a last-minute pitch for votes.
Good luck, Senator. Best of luck. Thank you very much. Good day.
The former Pennsylvania senator and Romney are locked in a tight race for this critical state. It's Romney's home turf, and a Santorum upset would be a huge blow to the Romney campaign. Santorum is trying to get a boost from Democrats here in Michigan. He's encouraging them to come out to polling places, temporarily change their party affiliation, and vote for him. Romney calls that a new low for the campaign. He says Democrats should not be choosing the Republican nominee, but not all voters agree.
As long as he's not doing it with a gun to their head, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Some Michigan Republicans we spoke to are having a tough time making up their minds.
I'm still trying to do my own research on both candidates, get as much information on their work ethic and their stances on the positions for things such as our economy and jobs.
As for Ron Paul and Newt Gingrich, neither did much campaigning in today's primary states. The former House Speaker is in Georgia as he looks for a strong showing next week on Super Tuesday. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Novi, Michigan.
And that'll wrap things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, you can tune into Trojan Vision Global News right after the nightly news. Now back to you, Bailey.
Thank you, Judson. And now Danielle Percival joins us with sports. So Danielle, an action-packed weekend for Trojan sports. Everyone was away, but we have a home game tonight.
Well, that's right. We do have action back on Troy's campus tonight as the baseball team will get started in just a little while. But ladies first, we've got a little softball to get into. Junior catcher Hannah Wren played a big part in the Trojans' 4-1 finish in the Frost Classic and was named the Sun Belt's Player of the Week for her contributions. Wren belted 2 home runs, a triple, and 2 doubles in the Trojans' 5 games this weekend. She also batted in 4 runs and went 4 for 4 on stolen bases, so no wonder she was named Player of the Week. Wren now sits at 3rd in the Sun Belt in home runs and doubles this season, and this marks the 2nd time this season a Trojan softball player has been recognized by the conference for her accomplishments. And after a win Friday night, the Trojan baseball team dropped their final 2 games on the road to Southern Miss, evening their record at 3-3. Tonight they'll have the chance to get above 500 again, taking on Samford. This will be the Trojans' first midweek action of the year, and head coach Bobby Pierce says it's bound to be a good matchup.
They've always played well against us. We lost in Birmingham 6-1. We won here 14-1 last year. pretty much two totally different games. One was early in the season, the one we lost, and then later in the season we won convincingly. But always a competitive team, always a well-coached team, and right now what looks to be a fairly hot team.
First pitch of tonight's game is in less than an hour, but Trojan fans, you still have time to make it to Riddle Pace Field. Troy and Sanford square off at 6 o'clock tonight. The road wasn't kind to the men's basketball team as they finished 4-10 away from Sartain Hall, but they did pick up a few key victories to end the season in the Sunshine State. In the Trojans' 3 conference road wins, they hit the winning or game-tying basket in the final minute of the game. But the only way you can be in it at the end is if you keep it close. And head coach Don Maestri says good shooting is what kept them in the game Saturday against Florida Atlantic.
First half we were down 44-41. They had shot 60% from the field, but we had shot 60%. So when you shoot 60%, you're having a good offensive night. And the fact that we could come back in the second half and they started off on fire, but we caught up and got on fire ourselves at the end. It's all about scoring for us. So when we have good scoring nights, we're in the ball game.
And they'll need good shooting again on Saturday as they take on South Alabama in the conference tournament. Tip-off from Hot Springs, Arkansas is set for 6 p.m. Saturday night. And as the season comes to an end for the women's basketball team, so do the careers of 3 seniors on this year's squad, Tania Manuel, D'Angela Swart, and Erica Howard. But there are 2 other players who would have been a part of this year's senior class had their careers not been cut short due to injury. Kristen Smith and Lauren Kemp played for the Trojans during the 2008-2009 season before both of them experienced career-ending injuries. And head coach Mike Murphy says they could have been key contributors.
Those are 2 players that people forget about that would be seniors in this class that weren't able to fulfill their athletic promise because of injuries. And both kids were great players. They're great people. They're getting their degrees. But for D'Angela, for Tania, and for Erica, this will be their last time in a Trojan uniform. I know they're looking forward to the challenge of playing North Texas, and we're going to miss all 5 of these young ladies a great deal.
As Coach Murphy said, the Trojans' next challenge will be facing North Texas in the conference tournament. Tip-off against the Mean Green is scheduled for 2:15 Saturday afternoon in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And for the Troy Rodeo team, it's time to saddle up again as they hit the road returning to action. They participated in the Cossatot Community College Rodeo this past weekend, and Cassandra Smith won the goat tying event with an average time of 19.8 seconds. Smith contributed to a 150-point weekend by the women, giving them a 5th place finish. The men's team didn't have any first place finishes, but did end the weekend in 4th place. The Trojan Spurs have nearly a month before their next action on the road at the end of March. So, of course, the baseball team is in action tonight. Encourage all the Trojan fans to get out there and support the teams. Hopefully they can pick up a win and get above 500 and make the record 4-3.
Absolutely. Best of luck to them tonight.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Danielle.
Thanks.
Still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, Aaron Taylor learns about the upcoming Higher Education Day. That story is after the break.
But first, it was a cool weekend, but things have warmed up at the beginning of the week. Will the temperature stay this way? Bree?
Well, we have been experiencing those warm temperatures earlier this week, and it looks like those temperatures may be here to stay. I'll have more coming up in weather.
No!
Oops.
Yeah, sure.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education.
Right up here.
So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour
Lights there, darks there.
to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Find out how you can live united for education. Give, advocate, volunteer. Go to liveunited.org.
Do you wear this?
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Now Bree Sanders joins us for a look at weather.
Well, Bree, it seems like it rained pretty much all week last week, and I felt like a lot of people were really tired of the rain. How much rain are we going to avoid this week?
Well, it seems as if we did have those rain conditions all weekend, and now those warm temperatures come back this week, but that rain may be here to stay for the rest of the week. I'll get more into that in just a moment, though. First, let's take a look at our campus snapshot. Right now on campus, we see that the sun is setting right now, but it's very beautiful outside, very warm, so whether you're headed home from work or you're headed to class right now, you might want to possibly enjoy taking a jog tonight. Looking at our current conditions right now, we have cloudy skies, temperatures at 69 degrees, dew points at 61 degrees, humidity is at 76%, barometers at 30.23 inches and steady. Winds are coming in from the east-northeast from 5 to 10 miles per hour. Today's stats, we had a high today of 73, a low of 52. There was no rain today. The sun rises at 6:11 a.m. and it sets at 5:42 p.m. Looking at our temperatures around the state, overall the state is in the mid-60s, upper 60-degree temperatures right now. Mobile coming in at 69, Huntsville at 64, Birmingham at 61, Montgomery at 64, Troy at 69, Phoenix City at 66, and Dothan at 70. Looking at our temperatures around the southeast in our area, we're experiencing some lower 60-degree temperatures right now, but as we move throughout the rest of the southeast, those temperatures remain almost constant in the mid-60s. Certain parts of Florida getting into the lower 80s, as well as certain parts of Texas in the mid-70s, a lot warmer than what we've been looking at lately. Looking at our temperatures around the United States, here in the northeast, they're in about the mid-20s, but like I said, as we head back throughout our area, those temperatures get a lot warmer. Looking at our departure from normal, we're about 4 degrees warmer than what we were yesterday. Looks like those warm temperatures coming back into our area. Current surface map, we have a few high pressure systems here in the northeast, but as we take a closer look at our area, we have a few rain systems here in the southeast. Maybe rain heading into our area later on this week, possibly. For the next 48 hours, it looks like the southeast as a whole may be covered in rain, as well as our state, about half an inch to an inch of rain or so be prepared for that. Tomorrow, we do have that rain that comes back into our area, coming from the northern part of the state. Thursday, it looks like it tries to clear out just a little bit, but Friday it comes back and even a 50% chance of severe thunderstorm. And as we head into Saturday, we still have that rain in our area. Looks like we'll have a rainy weekend ahead. Get that rain gear out. Later on tonight, it looks like we'll have partly cloudy skies, overcast later, about a 20% chance of rain, light winds coming in from the southeast at about 5 miles per hour with a low of 58, so it'll be very warm tonight, unlike last night. For tomorrow, we have mainly cloudy skies, about a 20% chance of rain, very windy, winds coming in from the south-southwest from about 10 to 20 miles per hour with a high of 79. So much like today, it'll be very warm tomorrow. You can go outside and enjoy your day if you like. Take a look at your class outlook for tomorrow. At about 7 a.m., it'll start out around 61. As we head throughout the day, it gets to 68. 75 around 1 p.m., you can go for a jog. 77 around 3 p.m., you can enjoy the outdoors. Take a look at our 4-day forecast. For tomorrow, we have a high of 79 with a low of 64. As we head into Thursday, we have a high of 77 with a low of 63. Friday, those highs stay in the mid-70s with about a 20% chance of rain. That low gets to 63. And Saturday, the highs at 68. So, Jetson, we did have the rain all weekend. It seems like we'll have warm temperatures throughout the rest of the week, but ironically, with those warm temperatures, it'll be raining. So you can dust off the rain gear, but you don't have to worry about the cold weather.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Bree.
You're welcome.